broken things can become a blessing if you let God do the mending. Welcome to Broken to be Blessed Network, where dynamic women will share their experiences that will inspire, and experiences that have turned out to be a blessing. Now, here's your host, Samantha McNeil.
Welcome again to Broken to be Blessed Network. We are now in season 2, and oh my God, it has been awesome. Yes, it has been awesome, awesome, awesome. If you have not yet, like, share, and subscribe, please do so because you don't want to miss all of the fun and the excitement. Okay, today we have with us a relationship coach, and we know how relationship can be. There's not really a manual to say do this or do that or all these things. Some of us have our personal preferences. We like them tall, we like them short, we like them with white smile and all these things. And sometimes we realize that they are just maybe all in our heads, and we may never get really what we want. And sometimes for some persons, they're not really even sure what they really want. But today we have an expert that's going to help us to see how we can put some of the questions together and fix some of the things, the bubbles that have been out there, and all of those wonderful things. So today I have with me Michelle Cumberbatch. Interesting, right? I tell you. And she's a woman of God that is of most importance. Yes, I know. She's a certified relationship coach, and she's also a mother of 4. Yes, she is married slash a little separated, she say. Okay. And she has a bachelor's in leadership and culture. And she believes she's a relationship coach who strives to teach women to avoid the missteps in relationship. And she is passionate, and she thinks her passion stems not only from the book, academic or academia, but from life experience. And I think that is just profound. So, hello, Michelle. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing?
I am well. Thank you for asking. I am excited. I just to add to what she's saying. So I'm a relationship coach. I am married, and I just want to explain that slash, right? That slash makes everyone curious. I know. So 2 weeks ago, my husband and I separated after 26 years, 20 years of marriage, and it's the most strangest separation. I love him. But we have a difference of lifestyle, opinions when it comes to morals and principles. And that's where my passion stems from because of how women can make the wrong decisions. And those decisions kind of catapult them to a place where I am. Now, I don't regret anything about my husband. I think my husband actually helped me to come into myself. I'm grateful for him. So, those afflictions that God talk about, those I really appreciate it. Didn't feel good in the moment, but I'm glad I did get those afflictions because those afflictions birthed who I am today. So there's no regrets. And I'm nothing about my husband. He's a real awesome guy. Nothing about him I can say than the things that are in the world that he wants to experience. And I love. So why do I want to be here on a panel of women that are single? Well, I think we as women tend to date wrong. And from what I was told, you guys are all Christian women, correct?
Yes, I want to introduce them to you before we get into your presentation.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, so we have 3 ladies with us, and I'm just going to have them to say their name and maybe where they're from and anything else they want to share with us. So go ahead, Akalia.
Hi, my name is Akalia, and I'm from New York, and I'm a mother of 1.
Okay. Thank you, Akalia. Thanks for being here. Go ahead,
You're welcome.
Sancia.
Hi, my name is Sancia Anderson, and I'm from South Carolina. And I like to smile sometimes.
That's a good thing.
Thank you, Sancia. Thanks for being here. Go ahead, Olutayo.
Hi, my name is Olutayo, and I'm from the beautiful Garden Parish of St. Anne, Jamaica, and I love the Lord.
Amen to that.
Awesome. All right, back over to you, Michelle.
So, ladies, I told you a little brief description of why I'm here and why I'm passionate about what decision women would make as relates to dating so that they can find that husband they want. I asked a few questions on a piece of paper, and I'm going to start with the question of what are the challenges that you experience as a Christian woman in this society? And when I said society, it doesn't differ from country. It's a society of where there's new norms every day developing that determines how we date, right? So, what are those challenges? Anderson, you could take it first.
All right, some of the challenges, no problem. Some of the challenges that I face is actually finding persons to date. Where I'm at, it's very difficult, especially when it comes to work and with the recent developments with what's happening worldwide. It's very, very difficult to find persons. And if you do find persons, then my challenge is finding the time when our times meet. Um, Persons who are within the church tends not to have a strong male population. So that pool to date from or to choose from, it's it's very, very small.
Make sense?
Major ones that I experience.
Okay. Akela.
Well, for me, one of the challenges for me is the time and explaining why am I single. I mean, it's a choice for me right now to just stay single and to focus on me and my daughter. So it's a choice. And, persons are like they want to tend to feel sorry for you or thinking that everything is passing you by because you're not in the dating world. Now it's a choice to just stay single, focus on me, and let the Lord do a work within me. And I trust him that
Oh, wow.
in the right time, he'll send my helpmate.
Ah, Tayo.
Well, for me, one of the challenges I face, being a single person, is that period or that phase of waiting on the Lord. And in that period of waiting on the Lord, you face some loneliness in your life that sometimes seems unbearable. And you may tend to ask a few questions. You might not even verbally express it, but in your mind, you might, ask when my time is going to come, when, that person will find me, and, that time when I will be married. So you think along that line at times. And then you face, that time in your life where, you just feel that sense of loneliness. And sometimes you wish it could be over, but then you know that it's a season that we all have to go through at some point in time in our lives. So it's for us just not to rush the process, but to wait. So that's what I used to, to kind of encourage myself.
Wow. So I am surprised by the two answers when it have to do with time. I mean, those are different from what I typically hear. Time being a factor. So when I hear time, it's normally time is running out, not I don't have time to give to that right now. So that's different for me. So you guys throw me a curveball there. Now, one of the things Akela said that I really, 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 really promote when I give my self-help stuff, I am big on finding who you are. Like, and why that is because you don't want to discover who that person is when you're married, because it's not fair to your partner to start discovering who you are in the middle of a marriage. He already married that person that you were, and he would like to keep that person. So unless you guys are on the same page and discovering each other together, that drastic change of not knowing who you are is not a good place for you to be. So to speak to time, as I said, that threw me. If marriage is not something that you are focus on getting to right now, then I think that's the time. Not having the time is actually okay. But if it's something you want to achieve, you have to make the time. You have to make the time. Now, being in the place where you question, like, Lord, when is my time? I think it's a fair question. However, that question normally stems from comparison, because you're seeing things around you that are changing, and you're like, okay, when it's happening to me. So I would say your single time is the time when you get to discover, oh my God, that's like your best time of your life, your single time, because that's when you get to do all the things that you could imagine and discover as a single person. So when you get married, you're full. You're not coming empty or wanting to find, oh, I wish I did this. I wish I did that. No, I think it's not fair to actually go in when you haven't discovered yourself. So what does it mean to discover yourself? Well, women of God, that is a real ticklish situation, because we are here where we have society norms, and then we have God norms. When God says this is the way you should have your life mapped out with these principles. And when we are in a society like we are in, we are kind of struggling when there's, like you said, not a lot of guys in the church. Got a lot of old men that are like, could you be a father? And then you're like a bunch of females, like, where do I find a guy? So I would say, do not limit yourself just to church. And here's what I mean. I want you to find a God-fearing man, but he's not always in the church that you're in. By limiting yourself to your church, you have left yourself without, well, you know, the term of leaving money on the table. That's kind of it. My cousin, just to give you a contrast, found her devil right next to her. They shared the hymn notes. So church is not the tell-all. I mean, that's where it should be, but it's not always the case. Do you understand what I mean?
I hear you. And it's true.
Do you have a question to anything I said?
No, it was pretty clear.
Huh?
No, I said it was pretty clear for me, and I agree.
Okay. I keep saying she's not hearing me.
No, I didn't hear you. You spoke to me?
No, Tayo?
Okay.
Olutayo. Oh, okay. Yes.
Tayo.
Yes. Sorry, I wasn't hearing you before.
Yeah, I wasn't hearing either.
That's what I was saying. She's not hearing me.
Yes.
Okay. Your question was a little more detailed when you're saying, like, you're wondering, like, when is your turn? Now I would ask you, do you have any close friends?
Yes, I do.
Are they married?
Well, yes, some are married. Yes, some are married.
Okay. Okay. Well, I would say don't use them as your gauge.
But I think what I
You have more
understand.
to fulfill within you. Happy.
Pardon me?
Go ahead.
I think what I understand, and I think for anybody who would have been in the church, maybe, you know, after that phase, you go to college, you reach a certain age, and then the next thing on your bucket list would have been to get married. And you're now here at this place and you're not seeing anybody. What do you do? So it's not that you're looking at anybody to say that, oh, I'm matching to see they are there and I'm not there, but it is a need, and it's a phase that the individual is now at. And I think I have a lot of persons who are in that stage, especially when it comes on to church ladies. You're in the church, you do everything. You do most of the things that you would want to do to say, okay, you reach at this phase now. So I'm now at this phase and I'm not seeing anybody. What do I do?
Okay, I asked you, what's your social life look like? What are you doing socially? A lot of Christians tend to just resign to church being the only access to their husband, and that's not. What is it do you like to do? I go hiking every weekend. Do you like writing? Do you like, when you start to socialize, you expand the amount of people that you're socializing in. Now you are limited to just your church. Your church is what? Let's say we got 50 men. and we have at least 100 women, because I guarantee you there's going to be more women than men. You are not in a good place to find your guy, because you are kind of competing with 2 to 1. Where else are you looking? And I'm not saying looking outside of church mean looking for a man that's in the world. So understand that. Man, your church is not the only church on earth. So there's other men in other churches. But if you're socializing more, and you don't have to be socializing a place that you are compromising anything, you're socializing an activity. If you are an outdoor person and you start doing bike rides, hiking, or whatever it is that you do, you start opening your sphere of people to meet. Then you might find somebody's going to a different church up the street and he's a really nice guy. But seeing the same people, unless you have your pick already, you probably should approach him, because it's just not going to happen like that. Just like 50 guys, 100 women. But when I say that I will speak to the culture of Caribbean or people outside of the US, we tend to, as you said, you went to school and you graduate, now it's time to find your husband. Now, I do believe that the process of finding your husband within the time that you're in school is highly likely, because you're exposed to a whole lot of male, right? But it doesn't mean that because I graduate now is my time for my husband. There's people that are going to come out to college and actually want to do certain things before getting married, and should do certain things before they get married, because it might be something that is conducive to marriage. It doesn't have to be nothing secular. I just got to keep saying that. Right? It could be, I want to do a lot of trips, and yes, you can have trips with your spouse, but the trips that you want to do is with your girls. Well, it wouldn't be good that you travel a lot with your girls and leaving your husband at home. So if that's something you want to do, you should do it. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying about, and I wholeheartedly, I'm a big fan of finding yourself, and that is something that I don't see singleness as it's a punishment. I actually see it as a gift, and that was something that God actually placed in my spirit. And from that time forward, I always, try to embrace myself being single. And so I find time for myself. I do the things that I love to do. And, in
Absolutely.
terms of reaching my goals, yes, I do as well. And I'm very, I would even use the word proud, but I'm so grateful for, where God has really brought me from. So that is something that I really, cherish, being a single person. And, I really find, that feeling of, fulfillment. And it's for us as singles to understand that don't think you have to be married to feel that sense of fulfillment or that sense of worth.
No.
Because the greatest love is actually loving your own self. And that is something I really embrace. And I would also like to
Self-love.
encourage
Yeah.
others as well.
Absolutely. Well,
Awesome. Yes. That's,
so
yeah.
so our next question I want to ask you guys, what is your purpose for dating? So when you decide I'm going to go out and date, I'm going on dates, what is your purpose behind doing so? And jumps in. Tayu?
Oh, all right. Well, I'll take the floor. In terms of dating, I guess you have to date with a purpose, yes. What is it that I really want from this? Going out with someone, or, forming, that friendship. And for most women, at the end of the day, they want to ensure that whosoever they're dating with, whatever it is, they can, who knows, that person will have, some form of impact on their life, or whether they want to settle with that person. So, people date for different reasons, I must say. There's not one reason that, person date for, but yes, that's how I see, dating.
I totally agree. There's no one reason that people date for, but I do believe there should be actually one reason a Christian woman date for.
Mhm.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
So I was seconding what she said, because I mean, you have different reasons, and even wherever stage you are at, then you'll have a different reason for dating. So as a Christian woman who is just discovering herself, is probably just gonna date for meeting people.
Okay, got a
Meeting
question for
different
you then.
persons. But somebody who is more settled and this is what I want is gonna date for, okay, I'm gonna date because that purpose is I'm trying to find my life partner. So it
Okay.
depends on where that person is, that stage where the person is at. So it is dependent on the circumstances as far as I'm seeing. It's where you're at and what you're looking for. That could be the purpose for why you're dating.
Okay, question. What does it mean to date? How do you see dating?
How
What
do
does
I?
Yeah, how do you see dating and what
It's getting to know someone and to see if there's a connection, if what their standards are, it's matching my timeline, it's matching where my purpose is, and my purpose is matching his timeline and where he's going. So that's the reason that I date, to see what do we have in common. Meeting persons, yes, but where can it lead eventually? Is there?
so there's a
Yes,
purpose.
that's my purpose.
So, okay, so
Is what
then
it's gonna stop right there.
So you have to date with a purpose.
Date.
Not just
exactly.
chill, but dating with a purpose.
Exactly. So
But in that purpose is depending on the person. That's where my purpose is. But I'm saying somebody else, their purpose is something else.
well, if I'm talking to women that are in the secular world, I expect the purpose to vary. But if I'm talking to a woman in the Christian world, I honestly don't think there should be a very big variation in why you're dating. There's a dating or reason for courting. What is it that, see, if you don't know what that is, then it gets confused.
All right, could I ask a question? Is there a difference between dating and courting?
And what dating, my friends. So courting is more from a biblical standpoint, where courting is you are courting to get married.
Exactly.
Dating tend to be, hey, I got a free meal, and oh, we gonna have a good time. There's no commitment. It's just kind of free willy under the whole dating thing. Now, coming from a Caribbean background,
Right.
we tend to use more the word courting, because courting tend to draw you back to, there's a place we want to go. We want to go to the altar, right? Whereas dating is like, if you ask a typical American kid how many people they have dated just in high school, they probably give you a list of about 5-6 people. Now, that brings me to the question, tell me what is your stand on being sexually active dating? You guys have maybe pick somebody. Okay, Akaila, I'm taking you, girl.